WIGO AM 1570, Morrow, Atlanta. You listen to the rest. Now it's time to listen to the best. Real Talk Sports, where these pro sport analysts do more than get in front of the throws. They never miss a catch or a call. No matter the sport, they always have the right call. Not just entertaining, it's the true sports fans forecasting guide. Feel free when you cash in or let it ride. With Real Talk Sports by your side, that is. Just to keep the ball bouncing even more. It's two-way talk with live question and review. So be sure to listen in on the new WIGO.
Good evening, everyone. You're welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, the Minister, Jonathan Simmons, and we welcome you to another live broadcast here from Atlanta's Incredible Radio, 1570 here on the AM dial. You also can find us broadcasting to you live online, WIGOAM.com. Let me slow that down, WIGOAM.com. You also can find us broadcasting on RealTalkSports.net. And we also have a brand new broadcaster that's streaming our program, 1100entertainmentradio.com. And for those of you who have mobile devices, good news, use the free TuneIn radio application. Put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine or put in Real Talk Sports, and voila, you will find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. Well, I got a full house tonight. Some great stuff going on here. Of course, one of my young guns is back, Mr. Reggie Brown, back in the saddle.
Yeah, the young gun is in the building tonight.
Young gun is in the building. It's his second. Now, he's a little bit more animated. Last week, from his long layoff, he looked a little rusty, but he's got that big smile, cheekbones popping, so he's good to go. And also we have with us a brand new guy who's going to be joining us here. He was from right down the road, big-time baller from Forest Park High School. Mr. Ashton's going to introduce himself to you right now. Go ahead.
Thank you for the introduction, Mr. Minister Jonathan. My name is Ashton Reynolds, 21 years old. Actually, I stay in the community of Morrow. Like you said, I graduated from Forest Park High School. Yeah, I was a baller. You know, I'm not going to brag too much.
But he was a baller.
Oh, yeah. Baller, nice with the rock. But, yes, I graduated from Forest Park High School in 2012, and actually what I've been doing, I've recently started my own company called Blessed Coast Enterprises. And basically what we do within...
Oh, we're going to stop right there. We got to save that for the community segment towards the end. But Mr. Ashton is here, and he's going to do some stuff with us here on the show. We're going to make sure to highlight him. He's going to be now one of our partners coming on with Real Talk Sports. So in the last part of our segment, when we deal with the community news, we're going to have Ashton tell you all about his company. So, see, you got to keep it locked. You can't go anywhere for the next hour right here for some great sports talk and great stuff in the community. Well, speaking of great sports talk, gentlemen, as you know, the NBA was the big breaking news. The Golden State Warriors, 15 straight wins. How you like me now?
Wow. They're just unbelievable right now. They're looking better than a lot of teams in the NBA, and looking forward to seeing them try to make another run at it, going back-to-back finals.
Absolutely. And the other thing we're going to talk about in the broadcast today, the Hawks been up and down lately. I think they're 9-5 overall. A big loss to Cleveland, 109-97. We'll talk about that, and we'll ask the question, are they an elite team? Speaking of a question that we're going to ask later on in the broadcast, what is wrong with our Atlanta Falcons? Something's wrong.
Great question right there.
After a big 5-0 start, the Falcons find themselves at 6-4 and now could be out of the playoff hunt. We'll be talking about that and hopefully have some interview clips from Matt Ryan and also from Coach Dan Quinn. The other thing is in college football, a big weekend of upsets. A lot of things going on to upset the whole college football playoff situation. And, of course, the coach's hot seat continues to go on. Mark Richt right here in Georgia. We want to know, did he get himself offered at all after that, what I call lackluster performance against Georgia Southern? And another guy who's now in the mix, LSU coach, the mad professor, Les Miles, is rumored is on the hot seat as well at LSU. Well, listen, if you want to find out more about that and hear about more about that, you're going to keep it locked right here on the Real Talk Sports Show. We're actually going to take a quick break as we get everything set here, get the clips set. And for those of you who watch us normally on Periscope, yes, we are now broadcasting live on Periscope. Go to our Twitter page at TalkSportsATL, and you can find the Twitter link right there. You listen to the Real Talk Sports Show. Keep it locked right here for more.
Merry, happy, jingle, joy. South Lake Mall is where you'll find exciting shopping, tasty food options, and fun-filled entertainment this holiday season. Select gifts for your entire family and for friends of all ages from over 100 stores and specialty shops, including Macy's, Sears, American Eagle, Aeropostale, New York & Company, Hot Topic, and Victoria's Secret. Still have more gifts to get? Then try Route 21, Bath & Body Works, The Children's Place, and Things Remembered to make sure everyone gets just what they're wishing for this holiday. And while you're at South Lake Mall, you can make your children's wishes come true when you bring them to Santa's Winter Wonderland, where every child who visits with Santa will receive a special gift. The little ones will be captivated by magical indoor snowfall every day, and who knows, they may even get to sing Christmas carols with Santa. For holiday hours, Santa reservation information, and all the holiday happenings at South Lake Mall this season, visit www.southlakemall.com. Located just off I-75, exit 233 in Morrow. South Lake Mall. Merry, happy, jingle, joy.
By now, you probably know that with Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Did you also know there's a local Geico agent in your area? It's true. I'm Charles Solomon, and I'm proud to serve Atlanta as your local Geico agent. When you work with a local Geico agent, you'll not only get the great insurance you can expect from Geico, but you'll get the personal face-to-face service you deserve. We'd love to help you save on insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, or ATV. We can even help you obtain a homeowner's, renter's, or boat policy through the Geico Insurance Agency. Get a free, no-obligation quote today and see how much you could save. Already have a Geico quote? Great. We'd be happy to go over it with you and see how much more money you could save when you switch to Geico. So whether you are looking for great coverage at a great price or just prefer a local agent who you can trust, call us today at 404-472-9003 or stop by. Our office is on Cascade Road across from the Cascade Crossing Shopping Center. You'll still get all the benefits Geico has to offer. You'll just be closer to home when you do.
Let's get ready to rumble with 100 yards of football, the hottest sports talk radio show, live from the ATL every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. with Vincent Turner and his impeccable sports talk crew. That's right. Join your host, Vincent Turner, and his impeccable sports talk crew every Saturday from 10 a.m. to 11:30 a.m. for hot sports topics and more right here on Atlanta's incredible radio, WIGO 1570 AM.
And we are back. Welcome back to the Real Talk Sports Show. Again, I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we're broadcasting to you right here from Atlanta's Incredible Radio. We also are broadcasting online at www.wigoam.com. Our new partner is 1100entertainmentradio.com. And, of course, you can also find us broadcasting anywhere on any mobile device, iOS or Android power. Put in WIGO 1570 in the search engine, or better yet, put in a Real Talk Sports Show, and bang, you'll find us broadcasting to you right here and right now. All right, let me ask a question. Ashton, again, you play ball at Forest Park. Your ladies are basically burning up. The last couple of years, they've done well. Looking at both of you guys are a little bit young, so you might have to go to the videotape. But looking at this Golden State team, do you think that they rank as one of the all-time great teams in NBA history so far, based on the fact they won last year, 15-0 this year?
So far, I believe that they do, honestly, because of how they're winning. Like, okay, when they played Chicago, you know, Stephen Curry had an off night, but you see that Harrison Barnes stepped up, and all the other pieces, Draymond Green stepped up and things like that. So I believe right now, 15-0, the way that they're beating teams, and then they're beating teams like by 30-plus points. So it's like, it's amazing.
They're unstoppable right now. Steph Curry can have a bad night, and Harrison Barnes can have a bad night, but they still got plenty of talent on their roster to keep them going and to compete. And right now they're getting a lot of just not showtime, but they're just performing like stars right now, almost like the 95 Bulls when they went 72-10. But I think they'll go toe-to-toe with them right now.
Right.
Well, it's funny you mention that because, one of the things that LeBron James had talked about in calling out his teammates, he said, here it is, we lost in the finals, they won in the finals, and they look hungrier than us. What do you guys think? The phone lines are open, 404-361-1571. You also can call us at 404-361-1570 on the Real Talk Sports Show. The question right now is, are the Golden State Warriors in the same league as the Chicago Bulls? As a matter of fact, they asked Stephen Curry that question, and let's hear what his response was to ESPN about 15-0 start.
Well, Steph, you've reached the top of the mountain. What does this accomplishment mean to you?
This is special. To get to 15-0 and tie a record that has been standing for a long time is a huge accomplishment. So we want to take it to the next level on Tuesday back at home. But to come here and get this win with what it all meant was a huge accomplishment for us.
Your teammate Klay Thompson said the other day that we're addicted to the feeling of winning. What is it about winning that has you guys feeling like this?
I mean, we can have fun on the bench and encourage each other and continue to motivate each other to get better. And you do it in a winning fashion. You see the kind of support we get at home, on the road. It's unbelievable, so we're trying to build that.
What it is, that was Steph Curry, and you could hear a little happy music in the background. That was a clip of them after they beat Denver at home. And, it's really what you're seeing with Golden State is you're seeing a team that really – is a team that really is clicking on all cylinders. You guys mentioned the fact that it's not just Steph Curry, but the role players that are making a difference on that team as well. I really can't call them role players anymore. I mean, Harrison Barnes, I never can pronounce his name right. Iguodala, Iggy. I'm just going to call him Iggy. Iggy goes ahead and does his thing. And really the team, and I tell you, even Andrew Bogut is showing some more panache down low. So, they're going to be a formidable team. Speaking of another formidable team, the Cleveland Cavaliers look like they are starting to round into form, 10-3. Really, the score of the game against the Hawks didn't indicate the closeness of this game. At one point, Cleveland had a 26-point lead in the second half. The Hawks had to make a furious comeback, cut the lead to 12, eventually losing by 12, 109-97. But the Hawks now, it seems like they've kind of fallen out of that kind of top 5 or top 6 that they were last year. Are they looking at them against some of these other teams? Do we still consider the Hawks an elite team in the NBA?
The Hawks right now, I wouldn't say an elite team, but I still say that they're a very good team. They still can compete with all the top teams in the East. But elite, you got the Warriors, you got the Bulls, you got the Cavaliers right now. I think the Hawks just need to find that motivation they had in the beginning of the year and last year to go back to to elevate their success right now.
Right. I believe that the Atlanta Hawks, I believe that they still, well, let's put it to you this way. Within the East, I believe that they're still a top-tier team due to the fact that the East is lacking the competition that the West has and things like that. They're one of the few teams that can compete with Cleveland, but I feel that the hunger, like you mentioned before, the Warriors are playing with more hunger and things like that. That's because they still feel like they have a lot to prove. I feel like if not the Falcons, I'm sorry.
We'll be talking about them later.
If the Hawks have that same hunger to prove that they're elite, because the league still feels that they're a joke. So I feel like that hunger, they need to get that drive back that they had last year and to, bring it this year so they can go beyond that. So.
Well, one of the big problems the Hawks are having is really their lack of shooting. If you remember, the Hawks, pretty much the same thing, live or die by the outside shooting, and this year they have not found the rhythm as they had, especially in the first two-thirds of last year. Once again, Wolf was shooting from the floor, 37.2% from 2 points, and they've now finally got back. It seems like they're doing a little bit better now in three-pointers, just under 40%. But still, at one point, the Hawks were shooting around 50% from three and shooting in the mid-40s or high 40s from overall. So that's the big problem. And, of course, the other big 800-pound gorilla that's in the room, the Hawks have still done nothing to address the rebounding problem. Cleveland out-rebounded them yesterday 51-38. So
yeah, I think one of the things the Hawks should have done during the offseason was try to get big men back into their roster. They got a lot of good players, but they're not rebounding type players. They're not going to stay in the paint to get those second-hand points getting off the rebound right now. So if Atlanta could try to figure out a way or a scheme to try to adjust that with Al Horford down there, and that's going to be one of the biggest challenges up the road.
Well, I tell you what's crazy is the guy that's been really the beast on the boards has actually been Paul Millsap, who's one of the shorter Hawks. I think he's only about 6'8" or 6'9". So, but he has been on a one-man wrecking crew mission. Last night was more the same, 11 rebounds. The other night he had 16 rebounds and 23 points. So, he really has been the dominant player, but you really can't have that. You can't have a situation when you're out rebounding consistently by double digits a game. That's what they ran into when they played Boston. And really in the East, they're going to have a lot of problems here if they can't show up those rebounding problems.
Right, especially when they have the big bodies like Cleveland have with Tristan Thompson, who is active on the offensive boards and things like that, Kevin Love, and and the Brooklyn Nets, they have Brook Lopez 7 feet down there.
He kills them every time. Even though they
time.
can't beat the Hawks, he destroys the Hawks every time he plays them. And speaking of that, you look at Kevin Love last night. He was the leading scorer, 25 points, 11 rebounds, had a couple of assists. Basically 9 of 15 from the floor, 65% shooting. LeBron James, same thing, over 50% from the floor with 19 points and 6 assists, 11 more rebounds. And you talked about Tristan Thompson, not really a scoring threat, but 16 rebounds, 6 of them offensive.
Right.
So that's going to be a big problem for the Hawks going forward. Can they find some way to shore up their defensive play? Listen, folks, you can give us a call. Phone lines again are now open, 404-361-1571, or you can reach us 404-361-1571, 1570 as well. Here's the thing that I've been questioning, okay? Where on earth is Tim Hardaway Jr.? I'm ready to put out an APB missing persons report. I just can't understand it. Gentlemen, what do you think the problem is with why the coach is not playing Tim Hardaway?
I don't think they feel like Tim Hardaway has stepped up to the level that they want him to be right now. And for whatever reason, maybe it's something happening in practice that the coaches aren't liking, but they need to start playing Tim Hardaway Jr. because if they don't, the Hawks are falling behind right now in the East.
Right. They're already falling behind looking at this record, 9-6 and things like that. They're almost at a 500 record and stuff like that. They might as well implement Tim Hardaway Jr. because he actually brings a three-point shooting threat as well, and he also has a drive game it's probably one of the most efficient ones in the league. So I guess they're trying to run with what they have and what they know, but they need to go ahead and implement them in there because Tim Hardaway brings game.
Okay, now here's the thing I can't understand. Let's listen. Remember, it was just a few months ago in the summer that the Hawks excitedly announced the arrival of Tim Hardaway. Let's listen to what it sounded like when Tim Hardaway first came to the Hawks with the press conference.
Well, just very, very excited to welcome Tim Hardaway Jr. to the Hawks. He's someone that we've had our eyes on for a couple years, being a first-team all-rookie player in his first year, having a great college career at the University of Michigan with Coach Beilein, somebody that he and I were discussing and that all coaches, I think, have a lot of respect for, especially myself. And 2 years of averaging 10-plus points a game in our league as a first- and second-year player, that's not easy to do. So we felt like adding depth at the wing as a 6'6" shooting guard with athleticism and the ability to make shots. I think as we integrate him into our system, into our player development, we feel like we have a great young player that's going to add to our team now that we're very, very excited about. So welcome, Tim.
Thank you. I'm happy to be here. Obviously, the Atlanta Hawks and his organization did a great job last season. Making it as far as they could in the playoffs, and I'm just happy to be a part of that.
Okay, now you guys heard that same clip. Mm-hmm. It seemed like, matter of fact, I'm going to have that clip up on my website. You should just see Coach Bud was just beaming, excited. Right. And speaking of excited, we want to give a shout-out to some people listening to us on Periscope. Stowe Chill, thanks for joining us here on Periscope broadcast. We appreciate you. So, now listen, come on now. Did that sound like a guy that couldn't get some minutes for the Hawks?
I don't. It doesn't sound like that, but right now, whatever is happening in the coach's mind, whatever is happening in practice right now with Tim Hardaway, there has to be some reason behind all this why they're not playing him. But if there's just, he needs to start playing. That's all I got to say.
Right. I don't know if it could be, maybe he has an injury that we don't know about, something nagging or.
But something's not right because last night everybody played except for Tim Hardaway. DNP, that means did not play, coach's decision. Doesn't say anything about injury reserve, PUP, physically unable to perform. None of those. Just DNP did not play not 1 second. And meanwhile, you have two guys that we thought were going to be, the 14th and 15th guys on the team, Lamar Patterson and Justin Holiday, getting 21 minutes and almost 16 minutes respectively. Wow. Something's wrong in the A. Mm-hmm. So it could be we're going to have to launch a campaign. The Falcons did that, and we'll talk a little bit about that later. We had people putting up the banners, Free Roddy. I might have to get some people from the Hawks say, free Tim Hardaway Jr.
Yes.
Well, listen, folks, again, you can hit us up here. We have now got the phone lines open, 404-361-1571 or 404-361-1570. I know people have called us in the past and said we can't get in. That's why we now have multiple phone lines open for you at 1570 and 1571. Well, guys, like I said, again, when you look around the NBA, you look, like you said, everything that the Golden State Warriors are doing. You look at what Cleveland's doing. Clearly, it looks like these guys are on a collision course. But you pointed out earlier, you can't count out the Bulls.
Right.
I mean, they're just, they look like, hey, we kind of let Cleveland take us out last year. We're going to come back. Obviously, Derrick Rose once again injured.
Right.
But getting some stellar play for other players on that team.
Especially Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Butler.
Jimmy Buckets. That's what we call him.
Jimmy Buckets.
Because he is definitely scoring.
Oh, there's no question. And he is balling. He is balling like no tomorrow, man. I mean, that guy. He basically is saying to himself, "Hey, I'm the new sheriff in town."
Yes.
I'm the new sheriff, and he really has stepped his game up. The thing that's kind of interesting about that team, speaking about a guy missing in action, a guy that played alongside Al Horford, won national titles at Florida. What's happened to the outrageous center for the Bulls? I mean, what has happened to this young man? He's kind of like disappeared. And all of a sudden now I'm having a brain lock on his name. It's like I see him, Noah. Right. What happened? This is a guy was an all-star.
Right.
Okay, just a few years ago. This was a guy that was on the All-NBA defensive team, second team, and all of a sudden, Mr. Noah has disappeared.
I think with Joakim Noah, I don't know if he's just lost his passion or he's lost that motivation, that drive he had a couple years back and last year to keep holding up the team. You know what? He's probably just falling off in practice or falling off in the games. We could see he's not scoring as well. He's not getting as many rebounds. It's just Joakim Noah. He's not the same person he used to be a few years ago.
Well, Joakim, you better quit messing around. And Joakim, you better get back in the game, bro.
Yeah, it seems like he's joking around on the court because, like you said, it could be the lack of motivation, and it's not even Joakim Noah that's doing that as well. We've seen that with Dwight Howard and things like that, and I don't know what's going on with the big men, the star big men in the league. It's like they're just losing the passion. They get to one area, they make it to the conference finals, and then next thing you know, 2 years later they're fading away. I don't know what's going on.
And I think one of the things with Dwight Howard is I think really he's never recovered from that back injury and back surgery. He's really not been the same player since then. And obviously the other thing, too, is keep in mind he's older. He's not the guy he was 5, 6, 7 years ago, pre-injury. Guy transitioning pretty much straight out of high school. It's a whole lot easier, as you know, to get in here and crash and bang when you have no back problems and you're ripped and strong at, 6'11", 7 feet, 280 pounds of muscle. Right. A little different story now. Well, listen, folks, we're going to go to a quick break here. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show as we broadcast to you from Atlanta's incredible radio, WIGO. Keep it locked right here for more because the question remains, what's going on in college football? Well, you won't know until you turn back in.
Attention promoters, event organizers, and committees. If you're looking for a place to have your next big event, you must check out the C Room Multiplex. The C Room Multiplex cordially invites you to book your next artist or to host your next big event at the C Room, specializing in the following areas: CD release parties, showcases, fashion shows, movie premieres, birthday celebrations, wedding receptions, banquets, pastors' anniversaries, special events, and more. At the C Room Multiplex, we also offer catering and decorating packages. For more information, call us 678-823-5124. That's 678-823-5124. Or visit us on the web at croomatlanta.com. That's c-roomatlanta.com. The C Room is Atlanta's premier Christian entertainment venue. The C Room, 4013A Jonesboro Road, Forest Park, Georgia. Mention this ad for special pricing.
Merry, happy, jingle, joy. South Lake Mall is where you'll find exciting shopping, tasty food options, and fun-filled entertainment this holiday season. Select gifts for your entire family and for friends of all ages from over 100 stores and specialty shops, including Macy's, Sears, American Eagle, Aeropostale, New York & Company, Hot Topic, and Victoria's Secret. Still have more gifts to get? Then try Route 21, Bath & Body Works, The Children's Place, and Things Remembered to make sure everyone gets just what they're wishing for this holiday. And while you're at South Lake Mall, you can make your children's children's wishes come true when you bring them to Santa's Winter Wonderland, where every child who visits with Santa will receive a special gift. The little ones will be captivated by magical indoor snowfall every day, and who knows, they may even get to sing Christmas carols with Santa. For holiday hours, Santa reservation information, and all the holiday happenings at South Lake Mall this season, visit www.southlakemall.com. Located just off I-75, exit 233 in Morrow. South Lake Mall. Merry, happy, jingle, joy.
And we are back. You're listening to the Real Talk Sports Show. I'm your host, Minister Jonathan Simmons, and we're in the booth here with the Young Guns. We have a new partner that is joining us here, young Mr. Ashton. He was a big-time baller right down the road at Forest Park High School, but now he's doing some great things in the community, and he'll be talking to us about that in the segment. But he's going to be lending us his basketball expertise as we talk a little basketball and now shift into some football as well. We also have the young gun Reggie Brown with us, and it's always good to have Reggie back in the mix here as he represents the Young Guns here, 16 years old, doing it up big from Mundy's Mill High School. And Mundy's Mill has been really turning the band world upside down.
Oh, yes, we have. And, trying to make a name for ourselves out here in the marching band world, and actually having the big Georgia Dome Battle of Bands coming up on December 19th. If everybody can come out and show some support, especially for Mundy's Mill, even though we're a smaller school compared to these other bands that's coming out there like MLK, it helps when we're out there playing and performing.
There's no question about. Speaking of that, we hope to be partnering. Matter of fact, we're going to speak it out there. We're going to be partnering with the Celebration Bowl. That's what's going on December 19th. Celebration Bowl is bringing something that I think is long overdue and official now, Black College Football Championship, so to speak, as the MEAC Conference squares off against the SWAC. SWAC, of course, is known for such legendary schools like Grambling and Southern and so forth. And so we look forward to having that battle here. It's actually going to be the very first bowl game played of the year, 12 noon, high noon, December 19th at the Georgia Dome, and we look forward to being down there covering the game and, of course, covering the Battle of the Bands, featuring our own Mundy's Mill High School representative, Mr. Reggie Brown, in the building. Mm-hmm. Well, listen, college football, a lot of upsets in college football, a lot of big games. Of course, the biggest one was up in the Midwest at the Horseshoe. Ohio State goes down to Michigan State 17-14.
It's a big loss for Ohio State right now, especially with the college football playoffs coming up. And I don't know what Ohio State was doing. Ohio State's offensive play calls weren't as strong as they used to be in the past couple of games. I don't think they were sound fundamentally playing. I don't think their heads were in the game that game.
Well, it's funny. You talk about heads being in the game. I'm not sure if what exactly the problem was, but there was no question that we had a problem. As a matter of fact, what has been buzzing across social media everywhere are the tweeted comments and verbal comments by Double E, Ezekiel Elliott, basically calling out his offensive coordinator, questioning the play calling, and saying basically, this is my last game at the Horseshoe. I'm about to go pro. So, Ashton, again, you played at that level. What does that mean to you as a teammate when you have a fellow teammate kind of, I understand the passion of the game is just over, but kind of basically say, hey, man, they didn't call my number, I'm gone.
Well, I can understand Ezekiel's frustration, due to the fact that the type of talent that he is, he feels like, okay, you put the ball in my hands, I can make something happen. That's the confidence of any athlete and things like that. But at the same time, I feel like that was the wrong time to say that. Due to the fact that you lost such a big game. And like you said, Reginald, the playoffs around the corner, you really can't lose key games like that because that will determine how you're going to be ranked and things like that because, they look at that when you're ranking, But I feel like the frustration was at a peak. That was evident throughout the whole game. And he said he poured his heart out in that interview. However, I feel like it was, it's a time and place for everything. He could have kept those comments to himself and things like that, but that's how he felt. And,
Well, his coach backed him up. His coach kind of said, hey, basically what you said, it was inappropriate. But the Michigan State defense totally throttled up an Ohio State offense, which dominated them last year. And matter of fact, dominated the last 3 or 4 opponents they played, including Alabama, as they made their run to the national championship. J.T. Barrett, a guy who really destroyed Michigan State last year, over 300 yards passing, 100 yards rushing, was totally shut down, 9 of 16 in the air, only 46 yards passing. and only 44 yards rushing. So that means J.T. Barrett couldn't even get a combined 100 yards of total offense. And, of course, Ezekiel Elliott, his frustration, 12 rushes for only 33 yards. So that means all of the big guns from Ohio State, none of these guys could even average 3 yards a carry. So that was really kind of the ball game. The Michigan State's ability to kind of shut things down, and whether it been bad play calling, I can't understand how their head couldn't be in the game, because Ohio State knew that if they won this game, it pretty much, barring a shocking loss to Iowa in a Big Ten conference title, they were locked to go in the college football playoffs. But right now, it looks like the champion will not get an opportunity to defend. Ohio State gone, 17-14 to Michigan State.
Yeah, it's going to be tough for Ohio State to come back from this, and it's actually good for Michigan State to be bouncing back like this and trying to make a run to get into the college football playoffs.
Well, I tell you, man, it's like I said again, it's a topsy-turvy weekend in college football. Well, we got a caller on the line. Caller, identify yourself and welcome to the Real Talk Sports Show.
What's going on, Mr. Simmons? This is Mr. Flamboyant.
Mr. Flamboyant in the building. Well, sir,
Yes,
listen,
sir.
listen, what's going on here? We're talking a little college football. It was a weekend of upsets. Of course, we were just talking about Michigan State and Ohio State. Down here in the SEC, Ole Miss laid the wood to LSU, who looked like they were still hungover from the Alabama game. And now, man, the talk is rumbling on the streets. Les Miles might be gone from LSU.
Yeah, that's why I'm calling in. You remember my call at Michigan State in the Ohio State game when I was on your show a couple weeks ago.
You sure did, sir. You said that Michigan State was right for the upset. I didn't believe it, but Ohio State was not up to the task, man. Now really has thrown that team into turmoil with the comments that went on, and they still have another game to play against their arch rival Michigan. So do you think Ohio State's going to be able to get themselves together to take on Michigan? And not only take on Michigan, but a guy who had broken the hearts of Ohio State players back when he played Jim Harbaugh.
Yes, sir. I think that's going to be a tough one, too. I think Ohio State can pull it off, but it's going to be a tough one, though.
Yeah, man. Well, I tell you, it's going to be a wild situation here in college football. The Big 12 finds themselves now in a tough predicament now that Baylor knocked off Oklahoma State, who was undefeated, and everybody thought that they were going to slide in to that number 4 slot, but now it looks like they're out. And Oklahoma is going to have to now turn around and beat Oklahoma State this week for them to get back in the conversation. So it's been wild in college football.
Yes, sir. I tell you what, I wouldn't mind seeing Les Miles in that Georgia Bulldog uniform.
You're saying something here, sir. Well, listen, man, we're actually going to play some remarks by Les Miles here. We want to give you, though, another shout-out here. In basketball, we didn't get a chance to talk about it, but Clayton State women jump out of the box in front of a full house, sold-out capacity at the Clayton State University field house. And how did Lady Lakers handle their business, sir, against West Georgia?
Oh, they took care of business like they were supposed to.
That's right. Well, it looks like they're going to make another run. A few years ago, they made a fantastic run to the NCAA Division II title. So it looks like the Lady Lakers are back in the mix. Another big year, and of course, their outstanding scorer back from a motherhood leave. And so we'll be excited to cover both the men's and the women's basketball this year.
Yes, sir.
All right, there's Mr. Flamboyant in the building, sir. Don't turn away and let people know we're about to go to the interview right now with Les Miles as he talks about the controversy of is he going to stay or is he going to go? Let's take a listen to the Les Miles interview.
Bring your track record, what you've accomplished and everything, find this whole topic to be a bit ridiculous. Are you hurt or are you upset that this was leaked last week, this information? And
I don't know. As an example, there was a tremendously reputable national sportscaster who was the source of the information that was completely erroneous 9 years ago. Okay, so I'm going to go on to work, and I think I think the question's valid. I think you're exactly, at some point in time, there's a me in this. Not while I'm coaching. This will always be about our players and the team. And I'm a separate piece. I orchestrate and move with, and hopefully I'm successful. And that's the only way I know how to do it.
Well, here's the lowdown. Here's the breaking news reports that everybody's been talking about on social media. A gentleman by the name of I don't have the full name here, so forgive me, but members of the LSU Tiger Athletic Foundation, the program's booster club, will not let Coach Miles' $15 million buyout and plus potentially another $5 million for his coaches to have a total of about $20 million, stopped their plans to move him on from the head coach. He says the vast majority of the boosters want Miles gone, and he mentioned a couple of candidates. Now, these are the guys he mentioned. Florida State head coach Jimbo Fisher, who people are talking about here in Georgia. They might want him to come here. Also, Clemson head coach Dabo Swinney. TCU head coach Gary Patterson and even former NFL coach John Gruden are being tossed around as potential candidates to replace Les Miles. All right, gentlemen, what do you think? Should Les Miles be gone?
No, he shouldn't. He's put too much hard work and has too much success with LSU. And when you think about LSU's football team, you think about Les Miles and all the great work he's done. And just to get rid of him, I know they've had a bad season, a rough season in the past, this year and last year, but I'd say give him another season, see how they do next year. They got Leonard Fournette. Who knows if he's staying? He might stay again this year, or he might leave to go to the NFL. They have a good offense. They have a good scheme on their defense. They have a good overall team, so Les Miles should not go.
I agree. Don't Les Miles have a championship with LSU?
Hey, man, listen, here's the bottom line. I'm just going to go over this for you really quickly. And, folks, we know the phone lines are tied up right now. We have a second phone line for you. You can give us a call, 404-361-1570. If the 1571 line is busy, you also can give us a try at 404-361-8843. So, again, our backup lines to call in, 404-361-1570 or 404-361-8843 if the 404-361-1571 number is busy. Here's the bottom line, man. Coach Les Miles' overall record since he's been at Baton Rouge is 110 up and only 32 down. He's one of the winningest coaches in the SEC. He did win a national title in 2007. He actually played in the BCS title game against Alabama in 2011, lost that. And in 2013, he won 10 games. In 2012, he won 10 games. 2013, he won 10 games. This guy has had 4 straight years from 2010 to 2014 where he won at least 10 games. And like I said, played in the national championship game in 2011. So I'm not sure. I know the LSU fans are all hot and heavy because he hasn't beaten Alabama in 4 years. But, I mean, Nick Saban is a bad boy.
It's a force to be reckoned with down there in Alabama. Each year they come with it. They have a great recruiting class every single year.
Right.
They just, I don't know, whatever the scheme is right now, but Alabama's in the college football playoffs every single year. May even look to try to go again to the BCS championship this year.
Once again, they always loaded in every position just about. You know, they put one running back out, replaced by another pro prospect and things like that. But getting into Les Miles, I feel like he should stay. You know, I know the SEC is one of the toughest conferences to play in and things like that, and a lot of people are, you know, adamant about they just represent their college teams to the fullest. You know, like Georgia, they represent to the fullest. Alabama, LSU under Les Miles, they put out so many pro talents and things like that. His recruiting class also is pretty good as well. You know, he's put out the Odell Beckhams, the Jarvis Landrys of the football world and things like that. And, of course, he got Leonard Fournette under his belt. And I know that he leaned heavily on Leonard Fournette in the beginning of this year. I mean, the man almost rushed for 1,000 yards in 4 games.
Hey, man, you can't beat that. Well, listen, Mr. Flamboy, we're going to let you go there, kind sir. We'll open up these phone lines. Now we're going to talk a little bit about the University of Georgia, another man in the hot seat. Mr. Flamboy, thank you, sir, and God bless.
All right, y'all too now.
Well, that's the other guys on the hot seat. Coach Mark Richt, everybody talking about even if he wins out, that Georgia fans want him gone. Here's the bottom line. Young Gun, help me out here for a second here. We took off a list of the top 10 winningest coaches in college football over the last 10 years or so. Could you tell me who the coaches are who are number 6, 7, and 8? If you can read the names of those coaches for me right quick, sir.
And number 6 is Nick Saban with Alabama.
Yes, sir.
Number 7 is Gary Patterson, TCU. And number 8 is Mark
Richt from University of Georgia.
From University of Georgia.
Give me his record right quick, sir.
His career overall record is 136 wins to 48 losses. And record by school is also 136 wins, 48 losses, and .739 career winning percentage, so it's above 500.
So that means that basically 3 out of every 4 games that the Georgia Bulldogs lace them up under Mark Richt, they win. Is that correct?
That is correct.
He's won 2 SEC championships. He's won, I believe, a total of 5 or 6 SEC East titles. And really, had it not been for just 8 yards in the Georgia Dome, they might have won a national championship beating out Notre Dame in the year that Alabama won. So, I mean, again, have they been stagnant? Absolutely. But If not Mark Richt, guys are saying maybe Jimbo Fisher. A lot of people, myself included, say if you're going to replace him, you're going to have to bring in the high-powered head coach from out of Baylor, Mr. Art Briles, to
right
Georgia.
Now, I think what Georgia wants to do is try to rebrand the University of Georgia's football team. Maybe if they get a new head coach, maybe they'll bring a lot of new different talents to come play for UGA. And who knows, if a new face comes in, maybe UGA might play better. They might go to the college football playoffs, and it's just a lot of things that can go into it. But no doubt in Mark Richt, he's a great coach right now, and he's turned around this UGA program. It's not like they're losing a lot of games, but they just haven't won the correct games.
Right. That's exactly what I was about to say. It's like they have an incredible record. It's just when it's time to get to that level and solidify themselves within the playoff rankings and things like that, they lose that game. And like I said, Mark Richt, he's an incredible coach. It's just when it comes down
can't
to
coach
it,
the big ones.
Right, can't win the big games.
Well, I'm going to tell you, speaking of big one, they still have a big one left on the table. Of course, everybody knows the rivalry games. You got to throw the records out. Like they said, everybody gets right with hate. We also want to give a shout-out to a couple of people that joined us. Geechee Boy has joined us. That must be a South Carolina guy. I'm telling you, I'm from Marion, South Carolina. Those are people that are joining us here on Periscope. So we thank those of you who tuned in to join us here. Listen, man, here's the situation I'm looking at here. I got a chance to go down to Georgia Tech press conference. Obviously, they had a dismal season. But listening to Coach Johnson talk and talking with him there, Georgia Tech situation is different than Georgia's. They didn't necessarily have the horses. They had a lot of injuries to key players. They actually were playing, in many cases, true freshmen and third and fourth string guys to play by the time they got a chance to really move into the season. And, of course, the biggest loss to me was losing A-back Roderick Snoddy. They really weren't the same after seeing him go out. So, I don't know, folks. Do you think Mark Richt could stay or go? Phone lines open 404-361-1571 or 404-1570. Well, we're going to take a quick break right now here, and we're going to bring in another one of our guests. We're going to talk a little bit about what is ailing the Falcons and then some community good news. Keep it locked right here.
By now, you probably know that with Geico, 15 minutes could save you 15% or more on car insurance. Did you also know there's a local Geico agent in your area? It's true. I'm Charles Solomon, and I'm proud to serve Atlanta as your local Geico agent. When you work with a local Geico agent, you'll not only get the great insurance you can expect from Geico, but you'll get the personal face-to-face service you deserve. We'd love to help you save on insurance for your car, truck, motorcycle, or ATV. We can even help you obtain a homeowner's, renter's, or boat policy through the Geico Insurance Agency. Get a free, no-obligation quote today and see how much you could save. Already have a Geico quote? Great. We'd be happy to go over it with you and see how much more money you could save when you switch to Geico. So whether you're looking for great coverage at a great price or just prefer a local agent who you can trust, call us today at 404-472-9003 or stop by. Our office is on Cascade Road across from the Cascade Crossing Shopping Center. You'll still get all the benefits Geico has to offer. You'll just be closer to home when you do.
Standard of Care Psychological Services would like to help your child have the best school year yet. Each child learns differently and experiences the school environment in ways unlike their peers. In order to have an ideal school experience, your child may need a psychological or psychoeducational evaluation to determine their specific needs. Dr. Johnson Verwain, affectionately known as Dr. RJ, has over 10 years of experience helping clients develop realistic, long-lasting, and life-changing skills to improve their quality of life. Contact us today at 678-973-2491 or www.standardofcarepsychological.com or visit one of our 2 convenient locations, 531 Forest Parkway in Forest Park, Georgia, Suite 210, or 3915 Cascade Road, Atlanta, Georgia, Suite 105. Evaluations should be updated yearly. Schedule yours today.
Taylor, New York Giants, and you with Real Talk Sports.
I had to get a throwback there. When I was a young guy, there was no ESPN. Instead, we had every week NFL Films, and they had NFL Game of the Week, and that was music that NFL Films provide. The Sabo family, unbelievable how this man figured back in the late 50s, early 60s that people would want to watch highlights of the NFL and teamed together with a guy by the name of Sam Spence out of Philadelphia, and John Facenda, out of Philadelphia, and Sam Spence, the great composer. And these guys set the tablet for some of probably the most inspirational sports theme music of all time. That was what you call his great symphony called NFL Horns. And when I was a young guy watching the Green Bay Packers, John Facenda used to come on from the frozen tundra of the Green Bay Packers. And he would talk about the Raider is a pirate. And so all those great things that were long before ESPN that really got us psyched up about each and every game. Well, speaking about pain, the Falcons right now are in some pain. But before we do that, we're going to introduce our final guest for the evening, who is a guy who specializes in relieving pain. We have to send you down to talk to the Falcons. We're going to have him introduce himself to you right now.
Hello, I'm Clifford May out of Clarksville, Arkansas. I'm a pain specialist, and we've got a new product to help them Falcons with their pain.
And they need it, brother, because I got to tell you, the Falcons right now are reeling after starting off 5-0, have lost now 4 of their last 5 games. We've been there to chronicle the fiasco, and each and every week, Coach Dan Quinn gets up to the podium, Matt Ryan gets up to the podium, and they are getting peppered by questions. Well, matter of fact, let's hear Dan Quinn respond to another Falcon loss as we take a listen to his clip from the press conference. Coach Dan Quinn. Dan Quinn. Hopefully we can get Coach Quinn on in just a second.
Such an important part of our messaging, our program. So for us to have that, come down, we have to lead, not be able to answer. That's when it's hard. Our philosophy is about this football, and I thought defensively forcing some of those today was a significant improvement in terms of the way we want to go attack it. We didn't get any points off those turnovers today, and I think that was a real factor in it. You want to give credit to Indy, but they played tough, hard-nosed game, just exactly like we thought going in. And we thought it would be tough to come down to the end, and certainly did. And that I'll open it up.
Coach, after the opening drive in the second half, you all weren't able to score again. What happened to the offense today?
I think the turnovers were the real factor. That leave 2 open in the second half, but we're on the first play of the drive as well. And you can imagine how that can turn it away when you get one play for an entire series. So that was a significant factor for sure. But
how do you try to rally your team here from and get back moving forward here?
Well, when we went through the bye, I thought we came back.
Well, that was Coach Dan Quinn. As you can hear, the rapid-fire question. That high-pitched voice was actually a guy who's been on our show. He is a featured beat writer for the Falcons, D. Orlando Ledbetter, and Coach Quinn really didn't have an answer. And neither did Matt Ryan. We're going to listen to him for a quick second as he dealt with his turnover problem with the Falcons.
Yeah, obviously that's a tough play at the end of the game or in the fourth quarter. When I came back out, obviously I didn't see DeQuell Jackson, popping back out of the line of scrimmage. But just a play I can't make, and in those situations, critical situations, you can't turn it over, and I've got to be better than that.
After the first drive in the second half, what happened to the offense? You all didn't score after that.
Yeah, we you know what, I thought we played well up until that point and moved the ball really effectively. We were able to capitalize, really after the first 2 drives. I think.
It's interesting listening to Coach Quinn and Matt Ryan. I mean, both guys are professionals, but they said about how well they played. Okay, now I was at the game. They moved the ball, but in the critical situations, they played very poorly. They turned the ball over. I think Matt Ryan had 2 or 3 interceptions. Obviously, the one he was talking about was the killer, the pick 6, after a tremendous play, downing the punt at the half-yard line. Now, common sense would say, hey, man, get up under center, quarterback sneak, next play, get up under center, hand it off to a fullback to give yourself some breathing room. But no. The Falcons decide we're going to try a play-action fake out of our own end zone and throw the ball in the middle of the field.
Yeah, I don't know what the Falcons were thinking on that play, but overall, the Falcons were playing decent football, but they were plagued by a lot of turnovers. You can't win games when you have 4 total turnovers, 3 picks, and a fumble by Devontae Freeman. And sorry for him going out with a concussion, leaving the game, which I think would have been a big impact in those last couple minutes with their run game, trying to get down the field, because everybody knows he's able to make those big plays, make that big run down the field. So right now, I think the Falcons just need to look back and try to reduce all the turnovers to start winning some games.
No doubt. And before we do that, we just want to give a shout-out to Geechee Boy, who sent in a comment when we were doing about Mark Richt. He said Georgia would be a fool to get rid of Mark Richt. So keep that under the hatch. Speaking of being a fool of getting rid of people, the rumblings about getting rid of Kyle Shanahan and replacing his play calling, because a lot of people feel that he has now created a very divisive locker room with the Falcons just not being happy with the play calling. So I don't know, folks. The Falcons are in trouble.
Yeah, for right now, once they get their play calling understood by all the players, I don't think he's doing such a great job out there. And one of the biggest things we've seen from the Falcons in the past couple of years now, they're not playing good football in the second half. They're always letting up. They finished, I think they were up 21-7 after the first half, and then got beat 24-21 at the end. So they got to stop those second half losses right now.
Very, very bad. Very, very bad. Mr. May, listen, now we were joking about you being a pain reliever for the Falcons, but at the end of the day, tell people kind of briefly what is it that you have. You have a device that basically really helps people relieve pain without a lot of medical assistance and drug assistance.
Yes, I've invented this device that bounces sound waves off crystals that will take just a few minutes to alleviate the pain from your neck, your shoulders, your head, your foot, and I think the Falcons can definitely use it, as well as the community.
Well, I tell you two things. One, if we're going to have you, like you said, really just we show some pictures. Let's see if we can get for those people on Periscope. We're going to let you guys take a peek here. We're going to do some little stuff. Now, you guys on the radio said we can't see it. I got you. You have to kind of log on to Periscope. We have Mr. May sit right here. We're going to have one of our guys right here kind of get that close to the camera. He's going to move that in there for the Periscopers so they can take a look. There you go.
That's Jermaine Taylor, former middleweight champion of the world, and one of my national fighters, Joey Gilliland. We have one of the best teams in Arkansas.
And it's funny you mentioned about, because obviously just listening with the ear, for those people who have an untrained ear, it sounds a little exotic when you talk about waves and crystals. But at the end of the day, this type of treating symptoms with electrical waves and so forth is not new. Matter of fact, a lot of people realize that Michael Jordan, when he played with the Bulls, one of the things that him and Scottie Pippen do, they would put up almost, I won't call it a defibrillator, it wasn't for the heart, but they had an electronic device that would stimulate them to help them heal after injury. So this really is not a new concept per se.
This is definitely not a new concept. It goes far back as the kings and queens of Africa. They used to use them, worm around their neck. But I found a way to enhance that energy in such a few minutes that you don't have to worm around your neck for a month or a year.
Wow. Well, listen, this is now. Do you have a website already that you developed so people can find more information?
Yes, I do. www.mpr-relief.
All right, so that's something where people can take a look and see if that's something that might fit you. Certainly having pain is always a problem. My mom had the chronic pain syndrome. It was very, very difficult for her down the stretch. So it's good to hear that people are on the vanguard of really trying to invent things that will not put them in a position that they have to take an opium-based drug, which, as we know, is addictive.
Very addictive, and we're trying to get people to have a choice. They don't have to take pain medication, which eats up the lining of the stomach or destroys your body down the road. This is a new technique that we do with pain, and we can relieve pain in just a few minutes, and it has residual effects. It keeps working on and on and on.
Well, and really, like I said, the Eastern arts have been around for a long time. We know about acupuncture, massage, all these things. This is not anything new. It's just in many cases, it kind of slows down the money flow to those Western drug companies. That's right. I said it. Amen. Well, listen, we also have another gentleman here that is involved in community activities. Ashton, introduce yourself really quickly, everybody, and tell us about your group that you have right here in Clayton County.
Well, again, my name is Ashton Reynolds. I'm 21 years old, and I had started my own company called Blessed Coast Enterprises, LLC. And basically what we do is we use all forms of entertainment, from fashion to music, motivational speaking to comedy, et cetera, et cetera. We use all of that and to implement the Word of God as well as spread positivity, motivate people to strive for greatness, because one thing that people do is they put limitations on their success, which means that they'll set a term, or like they'll say they'll get to such and such by this time, but when something in life occurs, they'll put a halt to their dream. What we do is basically let you know that success is not a tournament, because it's already something that is guaranteed. All you have to do is strive and believe. So that's what we do, and we're based here in Morrow, Georgia, and things like that. So, and so you can see what I'm all about and things like that, follow me on all social media sites. You can go to my website at www.blessedcoast.com, and I spell Blessed Coast BLESSEDKOAST.
Ashton, you forgot something, sir. Where else will people be able to hear you and find you on a regular basis?
Well, you'll be able to find me on a regular basis here, actually, every Monday.
There it is, folks. One of our new partners here, Ashton, now is going to be partnering along with us at the show, and he's going to be here, and he's going to be talking each week about some of the things that he's doing. And, folks, listen, if you want to partner with us, we have spaces available to advertise. We can even come out to your location that we're going to be. Matter of fact, I'm going to announce that in just a minute. But if you want to partner with something good, the Good News in Sports, hit me up, Jay Simmons. That's JSIMMONS at realtalksports.net. You can give me a call directly on the cell, 678-410-9833. We have very reasonable advertising rates that you can join us here. We have a commercial space available. We have online advertising. We have social media advertising. So we definitely want to go ahead and get your word out here. And you'll be supporting good, clean sports talk and uplifting information that we try to give you beyond the world of sports. So, again, hit us up, JSIMMONS at realtalksports.net. Or better yet, give me a call on the cell, 678-410-9833. And speaking of that, we want to give a shout-out to our newest partner, the Holiday Inn, a hotel and suites right here at 638 Highway 138 here in Stockbridge, Georgia. The lovely Miss Joetti McNeil is the director of sales over there, and they have partnered with us. And what we're going to do is, folks, we're taking the Real Talk Sports Show on the road. On December the 7th, we will actually be live broadcasting from the Holiday Inn at their new sports grill called Burger Theory. So for you fellas like me that like to eat, this is your opportunity to come out. We're going to have food specials. We're going to have beverage specials. One of the things we're going to have is 35-cent wings, all you can eat. Any type of wing, no limit, 35 cents. You come on out. We're also going to have something else for you. For those of you who are seafood lovers, they're going to have firecracker shrimp, $6 plates. That's right, $6. For that firecracker shrimp, and again, 35-cent wings. We'll have all kinds of specials there. We're going to have some giveaways there as well, so certainly come out. Again, if you want to have your business out there with a table, we have very, very inexpensive table rates. Give me a call, 678-410-9833. You'll be able to find out more about us. Mr. May, we might see you peek out there and tell us about how to relieve pain? Maybe.
Yes. I want to give a shout-out to one of my fighters, that I trained. Holly, Hot Stuff Dunaway. I heard you was in the Atlanta area. This is your Coach May. Keep it going, girl.
What is? Speaking of, she's not a girl anymore. She's a grown woman, but she's behind the scenes.
Three-time world champion.
Does PR, does lots of great things. Marilyn Neal is in the building. We're going to let her just go a quick shout-out because we got to wrap it up. We got about 30 seconds. So, Marilyn, just introduce yourself and give people your website right here on the mic.
Good morning, good evening, good day, everyone. This is Marilyn Neal, all about books and media. And my website, you'll just have to find me online. Just look for Marilyn_Neal on Facebook.
There you go, folks. Well, listen, as usual, the 60 Minutes is gone. But here's the good news. There's going to be more sports here. We have a brand new sports show called DNA Sports that's coming on right behind us here at the 7 o'clock hour. And they have actually a 2-hour broadcast. They run from 7 to 9 o'clock. So don't turn away if you want more great sports talk, because those guys talk about NASCAR, and they're going to talk about the ending of one of the great drivers of all times. Mr. Jeff Gordon wrapped it up. Thought he'd win the championship. He did not, but what a career he had. Hey, listen, everybody, you know we always are concerned with your spiritual man as well as your physical man. Amen. If you don't know the Lord Jesus Christ as your personal Savior, please, man, please, sir, get to know him now. 2 reasons. One, the only way you can get to heaven, and he will make your life better than anybody else here upon the earth. Better than your mom, better than your dad, even better than auntie and them. Nobody loves you like Jesus. All right, everybody, you know I'm grateful to be here, grateful to be alive. Thanks to all of you listening. God bless you, and good night.
God bless.
My money right, big city lights, yes, I'm alright. I'm rolling slow, we fall deep and we sitting low. Do you wanna go? I'm gonna be going for sure.